here from CK Wraps. I'm going to show you how to wrap this lower section of the trunk here. So we've done the top in one piece. It was a huge pain, but we got it done. Now we're on to the bottom piece. Regardless of whatever film you're using, if you're using a regular gloss, matte, satin, whatever, or chrome, you're going to be doing this piece, lower piece, in a separate section because it's usually drawn off by a chrome trim or some other piece that ends up being in here. So yeah, so I've removed the chrome trim and I've removed the piece of plastic that goes under here. All it is a matte black piece of plastic. It won't get wrapped, it's just matte black. That's just the way it is. It's textured, so we can't even wrap it really. So we're gonna do this piece, and I've done a video of removing the matte black that was here and how much primer 94 was underneath it. It was a huge mess. We got it cleaned up, it's all prepped. I've used isopropyl alcohol, we've blown away all the contaminants. I won't really need any Vvivid tack reducer for this section right here. So this trunk is not magnetic, meaning it's probably made out of aluminum. So we're gonna have to do this without any magnets. You might notice the amount of masking that I've done here. So I've done this masking because this is a huge problem that most people have when they're wrapping this trunk piece, is that the vinyl gets bound up against this top piece and we can't get it under here properly. So what this will allow, and this is a good example of how the film will actually just slide right off this, and we'll be able to tuck it in here really nicely. So we'll start by getting this into position. Oh yeah, and I've also anchored the trunk down so that it doesn't pull up. So I've just used wire to tie it to the door lock, sort of the hatch lock, and then the top piece over here. And that helps with keeping it on a really good angle. This is a great angle to work on, as opposed to it being straight vertical or completely horizontal. It's kind of nice to have it on a diagonal angle. So this piece is way too large for what I need it for. We're gonna have to trim some off, but we'll trim it off on the bottom. This is that extra piece that I showed you I would have after trimming the trunk. So we're using the leftover scraps for that. That way we're maximizing how much film we use, then we don't have too much waste left over. So I just need to stick a little bit over here while I remove the backing paper. So that's doing it without any magnets. I have my wife here to help videotape now, so we've got some motion, and we'll be able to show you a little bit better about what's going on. So we have obviously a lot of excess film. There's the edge of the trunk. Let's trim off some of this stuff. We don't need it. It's just going to get in our way. That's garbage. I could have cut it out off the backing paper for door handles, whatever. I know I have a ton of this laying around, so I'm not too concerned about it. So we need to glass this across this section here. We also kind of want to contour it into this section here. So to do that, I'm just going to pull in. And you can see without any heat, we have a better setup here, and it's kind of taking the shape of the trunk. So again, I'm not really tacking it down over there. I'm just using the natural adhesive to grab on, and as long as I don't lift the film up too high and pull, that'll pull it off. If I pull more across and leave it more, I guess perpendicular is the word, then it'll be fine. We shouldn't pull it off the other side. I like to use magnets when we can, but we can't use it in this case. So as long as I pull in, then as long as I pull on this kind of an angle, it shouldn't slide off the other side. I want to pull in a little bit more, so I'm going to reposition it again. And the reason why I want to pull it into this area here, and you can see that it's dipping in ever so slightly, is because this will create a little less slack in this area. We don't want to have too much slack and excess film in this area, because what do? when we have too much slack in this area over here is we're going to have a huge issue getting it out, regardless of whatever film you're using. So now that I have that set up, I can anchor this side over here. I'm going to give it one more pull from the other side. All right. And we're good. Now I haven't touched the surface of this vehicle with primer 94. We don't need it. And as you can see down here, it's already contouring around naturally. So we only have a little bit more to go once we start rounding off the edges. So it has a natural curve to it just from glassing it. Okay, this right here is where the chrome trim piece goes. So we're gonna go in a little bit and then trim it away, and that's gonna be the end of that. But at first, so we're gonna do that, we're actually gonna do that right now. So that's what that's going to do, it's gonna create relief for this area here. So we're going to be very careful with our cutting. You can use knifeless for this if you're not certain of your cutting skills and you're a little bit concerned about cutting over on top of the paint. I don't need to use knifeless. So I know that has to stop somewhere around here. Get rid of that piece. So what I did is I followed the angle of the trunk just to make sure that I have enough over on this side to tuck in. So same deal over here. Okay, done. Now what we have to do, and I was explaining this to a friend of mine the other day, is create a bit of relief here. And look, the vinyl is just going to slide right off. So we have enough slack in here, and hopefully it doesn't haze out here and here. We're going to try it. If it does, we're going to have to do it. We're going to have to redo this entire piece and do an inlay in here first, and then do the larger section on the outside afterwards so that the seam folds in and we don't see that. All right, so like I said earlier in my video when showing you the primer 94 that was under the film, if they were confident in their install, they would have taken the stretch from more around this area and over a larger area and pushed into here first. So that's exactly how we're going to work this film. So we need our glove because we're going to need our fingers to slide. And also another thing that I want to mention is look when I drop the vinyl down, it naturally went into this area. I can pull it back out again, but I dropped it down and look, it just wants to go in. That's just what it wants to do. That's just because I pulled and created tension across this way. So what that's doing is creating tension in this area here. So when I do alleviate the tension off of here, it naturally just wants to go in. Makes it super easy, okay? So we have enough slack and we don't have a lot of excess film in here. We won't when we're done. So when I say we're going to take the stretch from the outer areas, I'm getting a feeling right now for it, the softness of the film as I heat it. But eventually I'm going to make contact somewhere. Oh, right there. Okay, that's fine. Okay, we'll work this over a little bit because we want to keep things consistent. Consistency is key. So from one side to the next, we'll drag this across a little bit because this area is done. It's just down right now. So you're going to see some marks under here. There were screws here from the license plate. Whoever put them on, may have been the last wrap shop, may have been the dealership. I have no idea. They dug into the paint. Sucks. That's how it is. So again, same deal for this side. Okay, we're using chrome. This one, the way I'm doing this right now, as far as getting a feel for it, wouldn't be normal with a regular film, but I need to fix that up a little bit there. And if I can, so as we go along, you can see the film, it gets wrinkles, and depending on where we push in other areas, the wrinkles start to disappear. So these will disappear depending on where I push right now. So if I push up here, they're going to disappear. And what I can do to make sure that happens is pull up a little bit on the film. So now what we've done here is we've taken a lot of the stretch that's going into this area from the outer areas. I mean, there is a bit of bridging right here, but it's really not as bad as it would have been, because the corner isn't actually very far away. So just to let you know, if I was overstretching this, we would be damaging the film right now. So I know that we're not overstretching this film. Okay, so for an area like this right here, we take the film, so we take our blade and we cut right around it, and this will alleviate a bit of tension, having the vinyl fall around this piece. And I'm just going to pull up on the film, and it's going to sit there really nicely, and I'll show you in a second. Again, same thing here. There's two more on the top we're going to have to do it with also. I'm not cutting on the paint, I'm just cutting on these little metal things themselves. These are the license plate bracket screws. Okay, we can kind of see that the film is already wanting to sit a little bit better. Over here, we have some space on top. Down here, I have to lift it off just slightly. There we go. Pull it up. And this helps maintain a little bit of consistency with the film. We want to try to make it as pretty as possible, even though it is behind the license plate bracket itself. It will never be seen until the license plate bracket comes off. Okay, so again, balancing everything out right here. We still have a very glassed section up here, which is great. It's what we want. We're gonna have to still take stretch from here and squeegee this in right now. As we get up here, it's gonna be a little more difficult. Though it should be a little more difficult. Okay. we're just working it in. Pull up here, get rid of these wrinkles. I use my fingers a lot for this stuff. Now I can start using my squeegee a little bit until we get up to these pieces again, which should be coming out very shortly over here. Okay, it's right there. We're gonna move over to this side, maintaining consistency again. Again, I want to take this off the top, make sure we're alleviating all the tension that we can. Okay, I need to add a little more heat in this area right over here. It just feels a little too stiff. Just gonna iron that out and then lay in. If I can keep that wrinkle away right there. So I am being a little more gentle because it's chrome, but for the most part, you're going to be doing this with whatever film. This is also much more difficult because it's matte chrome. So it's laminated with matte, making it thicker, more challenging to use. There's the other bolt up there. So we got a lot of tension right here. We're gonna have a lot of tension over here as well. We need to cut around these bolts again. I'm sorry if you can't see this one, but it's the same concept as we did on the bottom. Okay, so that fits around there nicely. Same idea with the one over here, wherever it is. I'm gonna actually balance that out a little bit right there. Okay, there's the bolt again. So if I cut around the bottom-ish, come around the top a little bit. We should have the same effect. I'm getting stuck here. It's stuck actually on, there we go. Okay. So again, coming over. I suppose you could remove these things. I'm not certain. I didn't look inside the trunk, but not a big deal. We can work around them. All right, so we need to finish off the rest of this recess over on this side and this side. And as we take the film and push it into the recess, it will start to come along across the top, but we have to keep the wrinkles away. So we have to come in there every once in a while and we have to squeegee them away. So same deal over here. Having the tape on the top will make a world of difference. I wouldn't even attempt this without it. It makes it from hard to a lot easier. So I'm pretty sure that I'm high enough, but I'm gonna go all the way up. I'm just looking to see where all the way up is. So I don't even need any heat anymore. I know that I'm well above where that black plastic piece goes in the top there. So way up there. And there's an edge there. I know I gotta bring my finger across and I'm coming across this way. I'm just gonna finish up this side over here. This side's pretty close already. So using our fingers and getting it right in there. All right, perfect. What I'm gonna do is create an even cut. So, sorry, I see a wrinkle, I'm just gonna get that out. I actually felt it. So I wanna create an even line across the top. There's a place to cut right here. Okay, I'm gonna come over on this side. And go that way. Get rid of some of this slack. We'll try to make it as straight as possible because of having access to this area up here. It's extremely hard. This is going to be completely covered all the way up. No one's going to see anything, but we still want to work on making sure that our cuts are nice and straight. All right, so generally that's how you're gonna do this recessed area. I'm gonna come in, tuck in these pieces to the screws. Same idea here. That way it's nice and clean. And I'm going to trim away all the excess after going over the edges. I've shown you guys edges a lot. So I'm going to go over all the excess afterwards, trim all this out, trim out around here once I overlap the bottom edge a little bit. And that's it. So generally what I want to show you is how we're going to do this bottom piece right here using masking tape. Helps tremendously. That will be the same on almost any car with this lower section here. Some trunks are one piece all the way down. Some have a break in the middle, like this one, where we can do them in two pieces. And that's just how you're gonna do it. So, like I said, I had a friend ask me how to do it. That's how we do it. And that's how it turns out nice and clean. Anyways, thanks everyone. Check out our Instagram if you want to see anything, up close detailed pictures, videos, stuff like that. We're always on it. Completed projects for sure as well. If you have any other questions about anything about how we did it, please ask. I try to comment as much as I can and get back to you guys. Anyways, thanks everyone, take care.